Nikola Tesla was one of the most brilliant men to have ever lived, and I wish somebody would make a proper film about his extraordinary life, because it seems like everything I see and read tries to portray him as some kind of eccentric, poverty-stricken weirdo, and none of that was true. And I don't know about you, but I am really tired of reading articles and books and seeing films portraying him as some sort of financial failure and borderline loser because he never owned a home, and because he lived in hotels. Well, let me tell you, these were some pretty awesome hotels. And so it is time that we re-examine and understand why he lived as he did. Now let's begin our journey. Nikola Tesla, the genius who lit the world with alternating current, lived a life as unusual as his inventions. Born in 1856 in Smiljan, Croatia, which was then part of the Austrian Empire, Tesla's journey took him from European towns to New York's grandest hotels, a path that mirrored his ceaseless imagination. Nope, he never owned a home. Instead, he chose the transient luxury of hotels and rented rooms. Why? Well, so many other geniuses throughout history lived the same exact way. And when it came to Tesla, his mind was buzzing with countless incredible ideas for inventions, and he simply couldn't spare the energy for the mundane ties of owning a home. So let's follow his trail and uncover why hotels became his haven. Nikola's early years were nomadic. After studying in Graz, Austria, and working in Budapest, he got a job in Paris in 1882, working for the Continental Edison Company. He arrived in New York City in 1884, a 28-year-old dreamer with a letter of introduction and a few cents in his pocket. His first step was likely a boarding house near the Edison Machine Works on Girk Street in Lower Manhattan, where he worked for about 6 months before parting ways with Edison. By the way, Girk Street has vanished. It's been buried beneath the Bernard Baruch houses in the 1950s, which really was for the best because it was a stretch of tenements and crowded streets that harbored two of the main evils of tenement life: cholera outbreaks and lots of gangs. By 1887, Nikola had set up a lab at 3335 South 5th Avenue, now LaGuardia Place, living in nearby rented rooms, and then the Gerlach House at 49 West 27th Street, a modest base where he patented his AC motor in 1888. These were lean, restless days, and his focus was on invention, not having a fixed address. But success brought a taste for grandeur. And so around 1892, after electrifying the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, Tesla moved. From 1900 until 1922, he lived in suites at the Waldorf-Astoria Hotel, a fitting perch for a man now dining with tycoons like John Jacob Astor IV. The Waldorf's marble halls and electric buzz matched his brilliance. And so why in the world would he have lived in a house? A house means upkeep, servants to manage, roofs to fix, tasks that would have dimmed the spark in his incredible mind. Plus, he was surrounded by incredible friends. Tesla was known for hosting lavish dinners there, attended by many notable figures. And his bills did pile up pretty high. By 1915, Tesla owed the Waldorf $20,000, which he settled by selling his Wardenclyffe Tower. He then shifted to the Hotel St. Regis at 2 East 55th Street, staying there beginning in 1922. This midtown gem, near Central Park, hosted his growing eccentricities, feeding pigeons from his window and demanding room numbers divisible by 3. His bills were adding up there too, and his friends encouraged him to buy a brownstone, but he didn't. Instead, he moved to another hotel, hinting that his mind saw ownership as a distraction from his wireless energy dreams. And so next came the Hotel Marguerite at 270 Park Avenue, where Tesla lived from roughly 1923 to 1927. This quieter, 17-story residential hotel suited his waning health, offering comfort without the fuss of owning a house, and where people were always around to be able to check up on him. Then, from 1928 to 1930, he checked into the Hotel Pennsylvania at 250 West 33rd Street, a 2,200-room colossus near his office at 8 West 40th Street. Its scale and proximity kept him close to work. In 1930, Tesla moved to the Hotel Governor Clinton at 371 7th Avenue, and he stayed there until 1934. This 31-story Art Deco tower with 1,200 rooms was a bit of a step down, but it was still stately. When he was in his 70s, he bartered a death beam device, which was a glorified resistor, to offset a $400 bill that he owed. You know, Picasso used to trade artwork for food, even if he had the money to pay for the food. And when it came to Nikola Tesla, hotels let him trade ideas for shelter. So you gotta admit, that was kinda cool. His final home was the Hotel New Yorker at 481 8th Avenue from 1934 until his death in 1943. At 77, Tesla settled into rooms 3327 and 3328 on the 33rd floor. His $125 monthly rent was covered by Westinghouse. Opened in 1930, this 43-story Art Deco giant boasted its own power plant, 92 phone operators, and a staff of 1,000. Self-contained luxury for a man who'd once lit cities. Nikola Tesla died there on January 7, 1943, at the age of 86, found by a maid amid pigeon feathers and papers. His window open to the birds he loved. So why did Nikola Tesla live in hotels? Well, his mind was a dynamo. AC power, radio, x-rays, things like that consumed him. He once said, quote, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude," end quote. A house meant maintenance, hiring cooks, fixing leaks, draining time from equations and experiments. Luxury hotels offered instant service, meals delivered, linens changed, and anything he could want and need right there at his fingertips. He had many quirks, such as counting steps and shunning germs, but he was surrounded by lots of friends who absolutely admired and adored him. So the next time you see some depressing story about Nikola Tesla, don't feel sorry for him. Those people don't know what in the world they're talking about. Instead, the next time you pass a grand hotel, take comfort in the fact that that is how Nikola Tesla lived much of his adult life, where he had countless meals with his many brilliant friends, and he had clean and efficient bathrooms, and he slept in great comfort. By the way, among his many friends were writer Mark Twain and architect Stanford White. So his was not a lonely life. His life was filled to the brim every waking moment. Nikola Tesla was one of the most active men who ever lived, and he made every second of his extraordinary life count. So now you see how and where the great genius lived. Nikola Tesla was not normal. He did not want or need to own a house. For genius Nikola Tesla, home was anywhere that his brilliant, imaginative mind was. And in many ways, the world is a better place today thanks to how Nikola Tesla lived and worked. So, what do you think of Nikola Tesla and his incredibly productive life, and the beautiful luxury hotels where he lived? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. Kindly be kind to all of our fellow Earthlings, and please do not harm them. In fact, you should be like Nikola Tesla and take time to feed the pigeons. And do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog or both. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.